So I read an article the other day about a case study of someone that's been implementing D365 for 10 years. At some point, someone needs to stand up and be like, okay, what is happening? And what are we spending versus what are the value that we're getting in that scenario? So that's why we talk about that speed to value, because you can take it in incremental approaches. And that's something that Adam's kind of talking about and that he leads for our business in the implementation of AI. Be able to clean up your data in one area of the business, utilize that for kind of a proof of concept, proof and scalability so that you can then invest in, a greater system, whatever you're trying to do. So Adam, what do you think about kind of that incremental phased approach more in the AI field? We can call it agile. Some people lose their mind a little bit on the agile world, but it is a way in which you can kind of piece together these different systems to create a strategy that's tested and less risky.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking a lot about the way that intelligence in general works, right? You have our dogs, our children, AI, and all of these things. And what they all have in common is by creating pathways that didn't exist before. The dog doesn't realize that the tree is not a stick, or that the Lincoln log is not a stick. It's a piece of wood. It smells like a stick. That's different. You have to create that knowledge, that pathway to know stick, not a stick. Chew on this, chew on that, but not this and the other. It just wants to chew, right? Children are the same way. You have to teach them the behavior. A child want to put a dish in the sink. That sounds ridiculous. There's no reason that a child would draw that conclusion until you say the dishes go in the sink. Now you created a pathway for their mind to think and to move on. AI is the same in that you can't just start with an engine and say, think for me. You have to teach it. It has to be to learn from you and from your organization. And for me, the incremental approaches that you're talking about, agile or otherwise, are really important in that type of a space, because the thought process isn't to have a sentient AI in 24 months. It's to have an AI tool that is helping add value and starting to learn so that you can teach it incrementally. So for me, it's almost like a lesson plan, right? First, I'm going to teach it to do this one thing, or we would call that a minimum viable product. I need to accomplish one small task. Once that's built, I can move on to the next one. Then we have continuous improvement. We can continue to teach these AI models to do things, especially using that incremental technology, because that's the whole point of AI, is it can learn and it can do more, and you can teach it new things, and you want to always be teaching it new things with new data.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big piece. I love your analogy. When it comes to, children, hopefully your AI is not throwing all your forks in the trash as opposed to the sink, right? So there's oversight that's needed for that type of thing when it comes to health checks and human intelligence and all of those different pieces. But that sort of approach of looking at AI per business unit helps you navigate those niche systems, which brings me to my next talking point. A lot of times what we see our clients or even our industry do is when you are a larger organization and you need an AI system to stay competitive or to create efficiencies. Kenzie recently came out with a new report that said 25% of efficiencies through AI is what is going to be the target. So a 20% increase in efficiency will be the target for businesses utilizing AI in 2025, which is a way to create a revenue stream within your own business, aligning your processes for new efficiencies that you could potentially utilize AI for. But a lot of times what we see, the first step is call your ERP vendor and see what they have as far as AI. Is that kind of what you would recommend as far as a pathway when it comes to kind of thinking through that? Because I totally see why that's a natural step, right? This is my software vendor. This is what I'm utilizing. I need to make sure it works with this system. So I need to talk to the vendor.
Yeah, I'd say that there's no harm in talking to the vendor with the understanding that you just perk their ears up as somebody who might be buying something. But I think that the overall approach that I would start with is understanding what it is you need and want, right? For me, this industry is still so fragmented. Everybody wants their hands in it. Everybody has their hands in it. And they all have all these thoughts and conclusions and these web pages and this, that, and the other. Get past the first web pages, right? One of the things that I thought was interesting is that we had a Fortune 50 company that we were talking to about AI and advising them on what's possible. And their question is, can this be done? This particular organization was impressive to me. And I went to their website because naturally I'm inclined to figure out, all right, well, what's impressive? And they had a lot of great impressive things. They had a lot of content on there. But you click into the next piece of it, and the pages they got like 3 basic points. Mm-hmm. The next layer, the first layer is built, it looks great, but don't look behind the curtain because the next page has very limited information and it's all very poorly articulated, right? Look beyond what is right in front of your face and draw conclusions based on the next level and the level after that. And I think you're still going to find that the larger organizations are disadvantaged in this space